Another research topic video coming at you right now. This one, a bit of an alternate setting. I'm in my car. I am currently just about to go get a COVID test done, and the line is a bit longer than I'm used to, so we're going to get the video done while I'm in my car. And this video is called The Relationship Between Performance-Enhancing Drugs and Body Image topic. And so the first question is, we have to understand, what are performance-enhancing drugs? And performance-enhancing drugs are anabolic steroids, human growth hormone, or erythropoietin. I don't know if I said that correctly. And what they are is they are synthetic hormones that are designed to increase the body's production and amount of hormones in its body. And so what this does is, when you have high levels of testosterone or human growth hormone, is going to increase the amount of muscular size that people have. It can increase muscular strength and power. And so all of these things, the increases in muscular size, strength, and power, are going to help people's athletic performance in sports. And anabolic steroids are hormones that are created to be put into your body to help have a greater bodily response to your training. And the bodily responses that you're going to have are going to be increases in muscular size, strength, and power. So now we got to get into, why do people take performance-enhancing drugs, and what are they trying to accomplish? And so in sports, when people are taking performance-enhancing drugs, they are trying to gain an unfair advantage over the competition. And as I mentioned before, because of the increases in muscular size, strength, and power, if used correctly in the sports setting, will likely increase performance. And in a body image type of scenario, people who take performance-enhancing drugs, who are maybe perhaps bodybuilders or people who are really into their strength training, performance-enhancing drugs are taken as a way to help increase muscular size and strength. How does the mainstream media affect people's decisions or desires to take PEDs? And so in a sporting setting, in society, our society places a really high value on professional sports. People train their entire lives to be good enough at a sport that they can do it for a career and get paid for it. So because of the mainstream media's glamorization of professional sports, people take performance-enhancing drugs as a way to help them get to that level. And as for people in bodybuilding, for body image issues, especially for men, people are taking performance-enhancing drugs because they want to be as big and ripped and muscular as all of the male models or movie stars that they see. This is a little more directed at men here, because a lot of toys and action figures and movie stars and stuff like that, they're all at a really noticeably well-built and very lean physique. And that also kind of plays into masculinity, where men sometimes feel like if they don't look that way, that they're not masculine, or they're not perceived as being very male. So a lot of people will take these performance-enhancing drugs as a way to help build their muscle mass and strength, because they feel like it's a way to help make sure that they are seen as a manly man or a very masculine person. And the last question that we have is, what are the negative consequences of taking performance-enhancing drugs? So I know that this whole video made it seem like they're actually a good thing to take, and I didn't mean it for it to come out like that. I just wanted to explain to you why people take them. And now let's get into the negative consequences of taking them and why they're bad for you. And so the symptoms for men and women are going to be somewhat different, but then they're also going to share similar characteristics that are common with taking performance-enhancing drugs. So for men, if men take steroids or performance-enhancing drugs, one of the side effects they could have could be shrunken testicles. And what that would be, or what that can do, is reduce your fertility. So your ability to pass on life to the next generation, or being able to have a child. Okay, so that's one really big reason why people shouldn't do them, is if you want to have a family, you're putting your family at risk if you take performance-enhancing drugs, because you may not be able to have children. And another negative consequence that sometimes happens to people who take them is that they actually end up developing breasts. So how that works is, because your body is so full of testosterone, your body's natural reaction is to kind of even that out. And then, so to even out the increased levels of testosterone, your body's now going to increase its levels of estrogen, which is that commonly known female hormone. And higher levels of estrogen are going to result in your body starting to take on some female characteristics like development of breasts. So sometimes if you ever see a man that looks like he has breasts, then maybe there's a chance that at some point in their life they had taken steroids and then that was a consequence of them doing it. For women, because women also do take performance enhancing drugs because they want the same things that men do, they want to do well in their sports, maybe they want to build more muscle or get stronger, they also have negative consequences for taking performance enhancing drugs. And one of the negative consequences for the women could be increased body hair. So we typically know women as to be the less hairy version of the males and females, but when females are taking performance enhancing drugs, they are likely to have increased body hair. They're more likely to have baldness. So baldness is not very common, but at the same time, because of the increased testosterone in their body, baldness is a consequence of taking steroids. And then the last thing would be the infrequent or absent period. So as we all know, they have monthly cycles where they have their periods, and it's very important for their body in terms of fertility. Having taken having taken performance enhancing drugs can reduce how often the periods are happening, or can even just result in them not happening anymore. And then finally, for both men and women, some general negative consequences are sometimes people develop really severe acne, and it can not only just be localized to their face, but all over their body. Another negative consequence could be increased blood pressure. Another negative consequence would be liver abnormalities or tumor development. Another one could be an enlarged heart, and with an enlarged heart, that means that your heart leads you at greater risks of heart attacks. And another negative consequence could be increased aggression or depression. And finally, depending on the reasons for people taking it, so this would be more for the people in the sports, if people are found taking performance enhancing drugs while trying to compete in a sport, if they're caught doing that, there are likely going to be consequences and sometimes even legal action for doing so. So the most common thing would be maybe getting kicked out of the sporting league that you're in because you're taking performance enhancing drugs. Or, maybe if you've had set records in that sport, then having your records taken away or your championships taken away, and potential other legal consequences